Now I'm very excited to welcome back the best football proxy in all of Las Vegas from footballcontest.com, Mr. Vegas Matty. You can follow him on Twitter at Vegas_Matty. Matty, welcome back, my man.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
I hear there's money to be made in Vegas.
Right now there is, yeah. These overlays are pretty big. I don't expect that to be the case when we cross the finish line on September 9th. But right now, I mean, you're looking at like an overlay of what, close to a little less than $5 million in the Circa Survivor and about $6 million in the Circa Sports Million. So those numbers are going to shrink up like as we get closer to NFL kickoff time, but right now it's looking pretty juicy.
Oh wow! So the overlays at $6 million. I thought the guarantee was $6 million for the millions.
Well, yeah, for the million. Sorry, I think what did I say?
You said I think the overlay is still huge, like 4.5 million, right?
Yeah, for the million. Sorry, yeah, the million is about 4.5 million. I think. Well, they've got the 6 million for the million, and I think they've got close to 2 million. What am I saying? all these millions, Derek. You're messing with me, man. With all these numbers,
He's upped it. He's upped it, man.
Let's break it down. There's around 2,000 entries so far in the Circa Sports Million. So that makes the overlay about $4 million, correct? Based on the $6 million in guaranteed. In the Circa Survivor, you're looking at there's over 3,000 entries. So that's about $5 million in overlays so far. So those numbers are going to get smaller as we get closer to the last 3 weeks. But does that make sense?
Yes. I feel like I had you on last year about this time. As a matter of fact, I just pulled up and it was August 17th of 2022.
Okay.
And I remember that there was much less people in by now. I think it was in the hundreds almost at this point. Aren't we trending a lot more people so far compared to last year?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was the hundreds. It had to be like, I would have to think both contests were well over 1,000 last year. I mean, I think the Circa Survivor's trending towards like 10,000 right now. So that all that money goes back in the pot, obviously. With the Circa Million, I think that's going to be a little bit more of a stretch. You can kind of look at the entry numbers and triple them at least. So if you're looking at, 17, 1,800 in the Circa Sports Million, that puts you pretty close to the 6,000. And then in the Survivor, with over 3,000 entries already, you're looking at like between 9 and 10,000 if you triple that number. So I think that's a pretty accurate way to look at it. I mean, I think it's going to the Circa Survivor is definitely going to go over the 8,000 entries. It's just how much more it's going to go if it's going to hit 10 million, because Derek's going to guarantee $10 million next year. So he wants to make sure that he can hit that higher number if possible. And the Circa Sports Million has had an overlay the last last year, it was about 1.4, something like that. I want to say there was 4,600 entries and it was a guaranteed 6 million. And then this year it's stayed the same. So it's still 6 million. And the biggest difference is the max number of entries has grown from 3 to 5 in the Circa Sports Million. And in Circa Survivor, you can do up to 10 survivors, which is up from 6. So guys who want to max out their survivors, they do their 10 and then they get a couple friends to do 10 each. And then all of a sudden they end up with 30 and then they go from there. So that's where you're going to see the entries really grow down the stretch, is this people maxing out their entries.
And to remind everybody, and for any new listeners out there, what we're talking about here. And I know Manny and I just got right into it. These overlays,
numbers at me all over the place. It confused me.
It's positive EV when there's overlays, right? I mean, obviously, if there's a contest that's giving away $10,000 with a $10 entry and there's 10 people in it, you better get in it, right? It's that thought process, because there's no rake. Circa gives it all away. And the Circa is kind of the big one right now that took over for the Super Contest. The Super Contest was the granddaddy of them all. There's arguments to be made both ways. The Super Contest shows also a great time for people. And then that was the original, way back to the days where it was the Hilton before the Superbook. But what Matty can do right here is get you guys in anywhere in the country or actually in the world. So basically, these are the most prestigious football contests in all of the world, all based on the NFL. There's a few college ones here and there, but right now, Vegas has rules that somebody has to be there to make the bets or place the bets in. And this is where football contest kind of comes in and helps you guys out. So all you have to do is either visit Vegas once, or if you know somebody in Vegas, they can sign up for you, and you can get in from pretty much any time and don't have to be there to put your picks in. Is that accurate?
Very accurate. I just want to clear one thing up. We like to say picks instead of bets, just because bets, a lot of people will then contact us and say, hey, can you throw money down on this game for me? Do you guys do that too? And that's a big no-no for us. We have to do it. It's a handicapping contest. So the picks must go through us. There's set lines that do not change. If there was ever a contest with lines that changed, I don't think we would be able to do what we're doing, just because that's it's all a matter of timing, as you know, with how the stuff works. But yeah, that's the big difference. But yeah, everything else was pretty accurate. So yeah, you want to get to Vegas between now and the Saturday before the NFL season kicks off, and you want to sign up in person. We had our first client from Guatemala that came in yesterday. He was very excited. He did 3 entries into the Survivor, and he said, I've done very well here, but now I'm ready to compete with the big boys in the United States. So I'm excited for him. He was so giddy when he signed up, and I was excited for him. And that's one of my favorite things about this job, is just seeing people get in it for the first time and just how excited they are to be a part of it. So yeah, get down here in Vegas to the Circa Sports, Circa Resort and Casino downtown. You got to see that sports book too. I mean, it's just amazing. I know you're going to be out there next week, and yeah, I mean, they're doing their big ultimate contest weekend, August 25th and 26th, which is actually 24th, 25th, 26th. I think the media like yourself comes out on Thursday, right? And then yeah, they'll have events that Friday and Saturday, and we'll be set up in the sports book from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That's August 24th through 26th. You just want to meet with us, get signed up. Then basically you'll be able to submit your picks online through our website, and hopefully cash a big check at the end.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it's all about. But it's not just that. There's many contests in these as well. So that's a great thing. Let's say you have a bad start. You still could win a week like 5, or it either starts at 5 or 6 through 10, something like that, because there's
the quarters. So the quarters are worth, I believe, like 300,000, and that includes the booby prize, which is finishing with the worst record over that period. Yeah. And yeah, they're 4 and 5 week quarters, and yeah, you could win a lot of money. I mean, the tricky part is trying to get that great record. We have a lot of guys who get excited going in the last week that they're right in contention for one of those. And the problem is once you're that close, you got to pull a 4-1 or 5-0 that last week, or else someone else will pass you, and then a bunch of people end up tying for the prize. So it gets broken down a little bit, but it's still a pretty nice chunk of change.
Absolutely, there is, and that's how it's so great about it. You're always in it, really, at least until the very end, and that's what's important. You want to stay interested. Unlike Survivor, you're out, man. But Survivor is definitely the bigger payout when it comes to the end. If you can be one of those very few people, and there was just very few people at the end last year. I think three or so won it.
Yeah,
it was intense.
It's competitive. I mean, 3 is like probably it's one of the lowest they've had, I believe. I mean, I think the first year they did it, 35 people tied, and they each had won $70,000, but the guarantee was much, much lower than it is now. So now that it's up to $8 million, man, I mean, even if they split, you could still split that, 8 ways and have $1 million if I do my math correctly.
Well, that's a great situation to be in, man. You can make those deals, and they'll reach out to you too if you're there. You'll have some opportunity. You can talk to some financial advisors or some betting geniuses if you want to figure out exactly how to hedge your bet. There's different ways of doing it as well.
Not the easiest thing to do, as we saw last year. There was a possibility to win on Christmas Eve, and by one particular entry, and the Raiders messed that up by losing. If the Raiders would have won that game, somebody would have cashed for the $6 million at the time, which is absolutely nuts. But I mean, just imagine being in that position. It's Christmas Eve, like banks aren't open. You don't know you're even going to be in that position to try to hedge a bet. And then what do you get down in that situation? Like, what would you bet on the Steelers in that game to try to make it worth your while? But it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all kinds of things. Once you get kind of past Thanksgiving, that's when it gets real, because you got to get through that extra week. There are 2 extra weeks, so you do have to go 20-0 to win the money. Christmas week, there's a few games, and then a few extra games, and then Thanksgiving week. So you gotta make 2 picks those 2 weeks, and man, it's difficult. We had 3 guys. Our last 3 guys all went out on Christmas Eve as well. So it's a little heartbreaking, because one of them in particular had a great chance to get to the very end, and took the line.
Yeah, none of them made it. None of them actually even made it all the way, but they were the last in, so they all split it, right?
Well, yeah, no, they were the people that made it last year made it all the way to the end.
Oh, they made it. Okay, because normally
our guys, the 3 guys that we had,
3 guys that
3 remaining survivors, conked out on Christmas Eve. They had the Lions against the Panthers. I'll never forget that game. It wasn't even close.
Yeah,
and then a couple Titans picks with Malik Willis as the quarterback, which was tough.
Brutal. And that comes to strategy. You have to look at Thanksgiving, you have to look at Christmas, and you have to leave a couple of those teams out. And there might be the one that's like, I'm saving this for Christmas, and all of a sudden their freaking quarterback goes out.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
was that Kyler Murray situation, right? Last year?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the situation now, like the Chiefs being one of the top teams to save towards the end of the season, and God forbid Mahomes gets hurt or something like that, and you're stuck with Blaine Gabbert now. You just never know. You never know what's going to happen. He was a quarterback at the end of the year. One year when we had a contestant in the Super Contest going for the win on a Sunday night, and he was the starting quarterback for Mariota when he was playing for the Titans, I believe. And so the Titans have not been good for my clients over the years.
I bet they've been rough on all of our sports bettors as well.
Yeah.
So that's, the Titans are definitely a low mark to talk about. What time are the entries due for each contest through footballcontest.com and through the actual book itself?
Yeah, the book's a little later. We try to give ourselves a good amount of time to get all the entries in, but our deadlines, which I believe are the latest, are 1 p.m. Pacific time on Saturday for the Circus Sports Million and Survivor. And then the Super Contest, we have a later deadline of 4 p.m. Pacific time. So if you want to get into the Super Contest too, Super Contest weekend is this weekend, the 18th and 19th, this Friday and Saturday. And we will be set up. Tony, my partner Tony, she'll be hosting a party in the clubhouse. So if anybody in town on Saturday, noon to 5, stop by, get signed up for that one. And the cool thing about the Super Contest is there's even more ways to win. There's 11 in-season contests, and which is really cool. The season-long totals are not what they used to be. That used to be like the first true $1 million winner. They had a couple of those a few years ago, but now it's a much smaller prize. But you do have those 11 in-season contests. Craziest thing I've seen. Last year, we had a client start 10-19-1. You think there's no chance he's going to win any money. He ended up winning $120,000 in the second half of the season in those in-season contests. So that just goes to show the winner of the Super Contest last year won $198,000. The winner of the entire season. And this guy won $120,000. Ryan Nomics, I'm going to throw his name out there. He's moved to Vegas. He's a resident here now, and he's trying to attack these contests from different angles. And hopefully we'll see him do well again this year. But I mean, he ended up 58% for the season after starting 10-19-1. So it's a pretty great story. And that's just
you sign
in that one.
And you sign people up in Vegas. They just don't want to sometimes go make their picks in certain places that require.
Yeah, no, we've got some locals that they'd rather us put them in. We're kind of like their alarm clock when they know that they need to get their picks in. That way they don't forget. We see every year that there's entries in Survivor that don't get in. We're proud to say we've never missed a pick in Survivor, and
because you'll pick them for us, right?
We will. But I mean, honestly, the guys who are in the Survivor contest are the most serious contest players, they don't want to throw that $1,000 away. So we'll make every effort we can to get a hold of them. And yeah, we had a couple close calls last year where we had a guy like off on his farm and he had bad cell service or something like that. But we ended up getting it, and we ended up getting a hold of him and getting his pick in and everything. But
did you have to like launch a Raven out there?
We should have that, especially for him. He's I think he's out in Nebraska, and it was like a little tough to get a hold of him. But he made it towards the end too, which is pretty cool until he busted out. But I mean, we'll make every single effort we can to do that. With the millions, it's a little different. Some of those guys just get dialed out, and we'll just end up turning random picks in for them to make sure you get something. And you never know. Sometimes, especially in those smaller contests, we've been known to put in some lucky picks for people that have helped them win money. So we'll see what happens this year. But yeah, that's just another added bonus for our service.
It's a great point because that just makes it even more positive EVs. Let's say there's no overlay, which I think there might be a little overlay. We'll see.
Could be in the million. I don't think Survivor, there's any chance it can be one, but
that just shows that there's more money in the pot because not everybody has a great proxy like you that's going to put in picks. And by the way, when you're putting in picks, you're doing them randomly. You're not taking a sharp analysis or anything like that. Any bad money in the contest is always more positive EV for you as well. But in this situation, there's people that live in Vegas that will give up on it. Maybe they have money, maybe, not a big deal for them. And that happens all the time. And that just makes the quarterlies and the small contests also worth a lot more to you, doesn't it, Matty?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, some of our sharper clients, even last year, like the last month of the season, they just kind of realized it wasn't going to be their year and they just kind of dialed out. And, we just put it in random picks for them and whatever. And that was that. But that you take those guys out of the equation and you're going to give yourself a better chance. I mean, there's a good chunk of people every year that towards the end of the season, especially when you get around the holidays, you get Christmas, you get New Year's. I think last year, what was it? I think New Year's Eve was on a Sunday. So people were celebrating the day, or was it on Saturday? I'm trying to remember. It might have been. I'm trying to remember that Raiders Niners games was here last year, and it was like
that was a tough one.
It was like the biggest game here yet, where it was just tons of people had interest in the game because they knew they could come here for New Year's Eve and then go to the game. I want to say it might have been on New Year's Day last year, if I remember correctly. But I mean, you get people trying to put their picks in on New Year's Eve, and all hell breaks loose. You never know. So those are definitely the biggest challenges. I'm glad to see those kind of in the rearview mirror. That and Christmas being, now Christmas I think this year is on a Monday, so that's Christmas Eve will be Sunday, and we won't have to be going into the office at the sports books on either of those days, which is nice.
Yeah, that's definitely nice. You can have some turkey at home, relax a little bit. That is good for you, my man. Well, that's great. Where could our listeners and viewers go in, sign up, and get in these big contests?
Well, we have all the information at footballcontest.com. If you go there, you can learn about the proxy service. You can learn about the contests we do proxy for. And they're only the pro ones this year. We didn't have William Hill this year for the college contest, unfortunately. So we're just going all in on the Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Super Contest this year. And we'll see what happens. But those are the big ones, the biggest contests in Nevada. And you can find out all about the payouts and how to sign up, how to schedule an appointment to meet with us. Just about everything you need to know is right there on the website. So go check it out, footballcontest.com.
Make sure you check out Football Contest. Now come down and see us. I will be with Matty during those days. I'm going to be obviously broadcasting, but I'm going to be coming down, visiting him and Tony in the Circa. Might even check out the Westgate as well, but he's going to be in both places. But from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., you can visit him or make an appointment, which is more preferred, obviously, at his website. But we'll have some free stuff to give away. Make sure you check him out. Thanks so much, Matty, for coming on.
Just one more thing. Just usually we're there in the mornings, but as the days go on, we're becoming, like, especially the weekends, we're going to have more extended hours available. So always a good thing to just check with us, go to our website, send us an email, and find out our availability so we can get you signed up.
Great stuff. Get in these contests. We'll see you in Vegas. Thanks a lot, Matty.
Thank you.